The unthinkable just happened. The Green Bay Packers went out and traded and acquired Micah Parsons. And a lot of the Chicago Bears fans are running around scared like chickens with their head cut off. And here I am, the host of Bears Yard, Vipe, sitting here looking like, am I supposed to be impressed? Welcome back to Bears Yard. This your boy Vipe. And my initial reaction to hearing that the Dallas Cowboys traded Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers is simply this. That won't save the Packers, okay? Micah Parsons will not save the Green Bay Packers from the Chicago Bears, okay? Let's break this down. Am I really supposed to be impressed with the Packers acquiring Micah Parsons when Jordan Love is still their quarterback? We just had the same movie shown to us back in 2018 here in Chicago when we traded for Khalil Mack. And our quarterback at the time was Mitchell Trubisky. How did that work out for the Bears? Sure, we went to the playoffs in 2018, but not much else came of it from then. I think 2 or 3 years after the trade, the Bears kind of declined, and then we brought in Ryan Poles, and y'all know the story. So ultimately, while yes, the trade at the time was an initial shot in the arm for the Chicago Bears, it did not lead to any Super Bowls. Now, a lot of people will say, Vipe, the Packers are in a better situation. They have a better quarterback, blah, blah, blah. I'm not convinced, but it is what it is. But if you're not 100% sure that you have a quarterback that can get you to and win the big game, having Micah Parsons on the roster is not going to matter much. And I am not convinced about Jordan Love, okay? Y'all can do with that information what you will, but I am not impressed. Number 2, speaking of Jordan Love, the Packers' best wide receiver might be a rookie. They drafted Matthew Golden out of Texans in the first round. Oddly enough, they left Luther Bird in the third to us. Thank you for that, because I think Luther's going to be the better receiver in the long run. But Matthew Golden might be the best receiver on the Packers, and that's not saying much. I know they got Jaden Reed over there. They got Romeo Dobbs over there. They got some decent receivers, but I mean, Matthew Golden might be the best one out of all of them, and that's not really saying much. So, again, I'm not impressed. Also, one of the more underrated aspects of this trade that not a lot of people are talking about, except for people from opposing fan bases, mind you, is that the loss of Kenny Clark is going to be felt on that Packers defense. I've seen other fan bases talk about, yeah, you got Micah, but Kenny Clark was a problem for us. So now you got Kenny Clark off there in Dallas, and sure, the Green Bay Packers acquired Micah Parsons, but if you neutralize Micah Parsons, the Packers don't have much of an interior rush now. So, I mean, cool. I mean, if you can get Micah Parsons off and things like that, then that's fine. And I know that Micah Parsons is a generational player. But again, the loss of Kenny Clark will be felt. And I know there's going to be a few offensive coordinators in the NFC North breathing a little easier now that they do not have to deal with Kenny Clark. But obviously, they got to deal with Micah Parsons, so that's a whole nother matter. But that interior pass rush, I think, is kind of underrated because the most uncomfortable position for a quarterback as it relates to facing pressure is facing pressure immediately in your face. And that comes from an interior pass rush, not the outside. That comes from the inside. So not having that interior pass rush presence will make lives a little bit easier for opposing quarterbacks of the Packers in the NFC North. Cool. Also, need I remind you, Packer fans, that last season you almost went winless in the division. The only reason why you recorded a single division victory last year was because you happened to block a Cairo Santos field goal at Soldier Field. Otherwise, you would have been swept by the entire division. So am I supposed to believe that the addition of one player is going to make you that much better against your NFC North rivals? No, not really. I mean, you might be a little bit more competitive, but I don't know if that can help you win more games in the division. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being naive because I'm a Bears fan and different things like that, but still, just about one player that's supposed to help you all go from 1-5 to what? 4-2, 5-1. You hope, you wish, you dream. Yeah, dream big. Keep dreaming, baby. Because the rest of the division has gotten better too. Well, some of it anyway, not all of it. But it ain't going to be no picnic for the Packers in the NFC North because this is still the hardest division in football. We ready for y'all. Also, the future of the Packers is looking a little bit more bleak after this trade. Y'all gave up 2 first-rounders to acquire Micah Parsons, which means no first-rounder in 2026, no first-rounder in 2027. Now, a lot of people will say, well, Vipe, anybody would have given up their 2 first-rounders to acquire Micah Parsons. Maybe, but when you're trying to build and sustain a organization through the draft, when you give up 2 first-rounders, it makes that job a lot more difficult. So now you got to hit on your second, third, fourth, fifth round picks and different things like that. And I'll give the Packers this credit. They've done a decent job in the draft. So it's not like they don't know how to draft. But yeah, the lack of those 2 first rounders in the future is definitely going to hurt the Packers in the future. So also, you have $100 million wrapped up into 2 players. Out of a 53-man roster, you have $100 million wrapped up into 2 players, fam. Again, how is that going to work for your future? Again, when we talk about the future of the Packers, it is looking a little bit more bleak with this addition of Micah Parsons. Again, I am not denying that this will be a short-term adrenaline boost for the Packers. Sure. But it really cripples their future, man. And don't end up like the Raiders or the Saints Packers. Don't do it, because you know we're going to be clowning y'all in Chicago for sure. Now, about the Chicago Bears ended all this, right? Do you really believe that Ben Johnson will not be able to scheme around Micah Parsons? Because I think he will. Now, I know that y'all are used to the Bears having inferior coaching. That is not the case any longer. We have one of the best coaches in football in Ben Johnson, who has assembled an all-star coaching staff who is going to figure out how to scheme around Micah Parsons so as to not let him disrupt the football game. So I have faith that Ben Johnson will be able to scheme around him and limit his impact on the games that we have against the Packers. So again, 1 player versus the 52 or 3, whatever that they're going to get on the Bears, I ain't too concerned. We'll be all right. Also, I keep telling y'all, Caleb Williams is about to ball out. Okay. Caleb Williams is going to render Micah Parsons useless when he starts balling out this time, all right? Because we don't even go against the Packers until week 14. And by that time, Caleb Williams is going to be throwing fire at that point. And Green Bay ain't going to be ready, fam. I will tell you right now today that Caleb Williams is a better quarterback than Jordan Love. And I know some of y'all going to be like, I'm crazy, you're biased, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. You can make it that information what you will. But in my opinion, Caleb Williams is already better than Jordan Love. And now that he has the proper coaching to heighten his development, ooh, I'm still scared if I'm the Green Bay Packers. And they are scared. That's why they have to go out and get Micah Parsons, because they know what's coming. They know what's coming. Also, real quick to you Bear fans, right? Y'all are getting mad at Ryan Poles and want to throw him out and fire him and different things like that for not making a trade for Micah Parsons. But the trade did not make sense for the Bears at the time. Could you imagine Ryan Poles giving up 2 first rounders and a prominent player and probably more to acquire Micah Parsons, and what that would do to the future of his ability to draft? We know how he can draft in the 3rd round and beyond. It ain't that great, y'all. So we don't need Ryan Poles losing 2 first-round picks when those are critical picks for him as a GM, and crippling the Bears' future to acquire Micah Parsons. Oh, and then you had to go and pay him $47 million a year. The Bears were not in a position to do that. So I am not mad that Ryan Poles didn't go out here and make this move. I think he's very smart. He's intelligent about how to run the organization. He built this up to where it is today, and now he has to maintain it and build it out further and further, which he has done. I know a lot of people look at his record, but he tore the team down and built it back up. And when you're doing that, you're not going to have the best record. Not to mention, he picked the worst possible head coach of all time. So that definitely didn't help matter either. But now he has Ben Johnson, and now he has a roster that can compete with anybody in the league. So Ryan Poles' record is about to get better. But you don't jeopardize the future of building your program by trading away 2 first-round picks when you are not in a position to compete for a Super Bowl right away. So Ryan Poles, I'm not mad at you. Good job. If you're feeling the content on this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button for more daily opinionated Bears thoughts from me. And also, if you want more of my content right now, check out that video right there.